What's that? Uh, Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Scores! He did it again!
I just killed him. Before the game, I just killed John Madden because of a stink bomb.
Split special teamers, and now Brown is off to the races. Hurdles, kicks him in.
Giants are coming off a worse week than Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, that was the most exciting thing to happen tonight.
Game's over. Game is finally over.
Ed, you got to turn your mic on. I think. Got his hand on the button.
And now, our feature program.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
No, that is still by far my favorite intro I've ever done. I'm glad that you didn't change it.
But I was kind of hoping we got to update things on it, so I think I need some sort of new one.
No, that one's that is the best one I've ever done. It really is. I'm good. Hi guys, it's football season, right?
Yep. And the only reason you're here, Nate, is because Smitty has no internet, and apparently he's not his own house.
Yeah, I think I was telling Amanda that I wonder if I'm setting a bad precedent of not being on the show by being on the show on the first episode.
Well, you're our filling guy tonight, so it's okay. I'm glad we have an experienced
role. You're the DP for the podcast.
Yeah, it's nice knowing that it's just like, oh, I'm just here to visit.
Yeah, you're here visiting. You can tell us a little bit about your comic book thing before we get going. Because we've got to promote it everywhere, no?
No. If you want to hear about the comic book thing, go to Comic Book Issues Podcast.
Yeah, they're actually interviewing a bunch of people, which is kind of cool. And it's not just like nobodies either, so that's awesome.
Yeah. We interviewed the guys that created Social Studies Today. Chris, Smitty, and I did Homeless Comics last night, and then the week before that, Smitty and I did Clint Stoker, and he is doing a graphic novel on Dracula, which is one of his direct descendants from his mom's side.
Wow.
Not his dad's side.
Right, on his dad's side. His name is Bram Stoker, and he's the one that created Dracula. So he's doing, a Stoker doing another Stoker's Dracula book, even though they're not on the father's side.
But it's funny because he took the father's last name, yet on the mother's side, which wasn't Stoker, is actually how he's descended from him.
Yeah.
That's kind of nifty. Hi, Amanda. It's nice to see you again. All right. So, Chris, I know it hasn't started yet, but are you ready to talk some college football for us?
Yeah. We can go over some stuff. So, they haven't released the official top 25, preseason AP poll.
Yeah.
But going over some of the predictions, and I'm just going to touch on some of these because going over all 25 of them, most of these teams by week 3 aren't going to matter.
Like usual.
Yeah. So obviously we know number 1 is going to be Alabama, returning national champions, returning Heisman quarterback, so right now him and quarterback CJ Stroud from Ohio State are the Heisman favorites going into the season. Stroud was a Heisman finalist last year as well. And this is according to Sports Illustrated, they're going to be ranked number 1 going into the season, and I misspoke. They are not the defending national champions. Georgia is. They were in the national title game. But their chance to make the college football playoffs, 79.5%.
Wow.
Yeah. And at number 2, Ohio State. Obviously, they stumbled a little bit last year.
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they had a whopping 2-loss season.
That's a bad season for them. That's like might as well have lost it all.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that head coach Ryan Day has been saying pretty much in the offseason. An 11-2 season for most Division I programs. That's a great season. At Ohio State, that's a bad season.
Yeah, he almost got fired for it.
Yeah. they have an 82.7% chance to make the playoff. They did do a lot of cleaning house. They got rid of majority of their defensive staff, and because that was the weak point last year. So
seems to have been in their weak point
on every college team like in the past 20 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's been their weak point for like the last 10 years at least.
Yeah, I mean they had like one or two good seasons with a real strong defense, like overall defense, not just their front seven.
Yep.
But we'll see how they do. And then at number 3, we've got the defending national champions, Georgia Bulldogs. They have a 75.1% chance to make it. And then at number 4, we have Clemson, and they're at 57.4. So, from the top 3 to number 4, it's a 20% drop in chances to make the playoff. That's how big of a separation there is right now.
Wow.
Texas A&M is at 5. Notre Dame is at 6. So, it's interesting to note that the opening game of the season is going to pit number 2 potentially against number 6 because Ohio State opens with Notre Dame, which is going to be very fun for me on multiple levels because I have family that are, Notre Dame fans, and I'm also going to be at that game. So,
really?
So
that means you're going to have to live stream from the game.
It can be done.
Pictures.
It can be done. I've done it.
Yeah, I will do my best. At number 7 is that team up north. I still refuse to say that name. And they
Michigan, you mean?
Yeah, that one.
Those guys. And they have a 17.8% chance because they have to go through Ohio State. So that's probably not going to happen. Oklahoma is at 9, and then rounding out the top 10 is the Baylor Bears.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, what about the Cajuns?
Yeah, do we have any news on the Cajuns?
They are not. I don't actually. They are not in the top 25 this year to start off, but they never are.
No, I thought last year they were.
I don't think they started in the top 25.
Ah, they worked their way past the Raging Roosters to try to get there.
Yeah, what is it? The Chanticleers or whatever. It's Smitty's team.
Yeah, Smitty's team.
I believe the only group of 6 team that's predicted to be in the top 25 to start the season is going to be Houston. I'm trying to figure out where they're at. This one doesn't have them, but I think they were like 20 something. But they're the only group of 6. It's a non-Power 5 team. And then moving on from the rankings, I'm kind of jumping around on this doc a little bit.
That's okay.
Conference shakeups.
There was a lot of people moved this year.
Yeah, so, obviously after last season you heard about Oklahoma coming to the SEC, and then about a month ago maybe?
I think so.
USC and UCLA are going to be coming to the Big Ten.
I had a question about that. What's up with this division moving thing? Like, you can try out for a different, I don't understand.
Basically they can just affiliate, with another conference.
But doesn't that, mess with some other dynamic of the conference from they're leaving or?
Yeah. So USC and UCLA are 2 of the bigger schools in the Pac-12, the more prominent schools, the more, the better programs. So when you do that, obviously they've got to fill those gaps somewhere. So that's how some of these Power 6 schools are going to end up in Power 5, programs. Because, I believe I read somewhere that the Pac-12 has already reached out to Fresno State or University of Fresno to come into the Pac-12, which they're normally a group of 6 school by Power 5 school. There's things that you read all the time, and it kind of depends on, where you read. They're talking it's going to end up being a Big Ten SEC, and then you're going to have it's going to be more along the lines of, kind of how the pros do it, where you have, AFC North, East, blah, 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 blah. It'll be something similar to that by the time the college landscape's done. I don't foresee that happening for many, many, many years. And the big one is, where's Notre Dame going to go? Because they're independent. So a lot of people are like, they should go to the Big Ten. Some people are like, oh, they should play in the SEC, which would make zero sense that a team from Indiana plays in the SEC. But,
Well, didn't one of those teams that move have to pay like $20 million or something to the conference they left?
I think so. I don't know the specifics offhand, but yeah, like there's penalties that are involved with them leaving the conference.
Yeah, because they had to sign a contract when they joined the conference,
for like,
and they're leaving it before the contract ended or something, something like that.
Yeah.
So since there's now more than 10 teams in this Big Ten league, are they going to change the name?
No, never change it.
So
the Mighty Two.
The Mighty Two. So here's my other question: is that do we think that they eventually will kind of get more in line with having an actual playoff? So more of these big colleges will become one league kind of thing, and then they'll have more like the NFL where they have an East, North, West, so kind of two different sets, and play for a national championship through an actual playoffs.
I think depending on how the conference landscape goes, honestly, like if you start seeing the SEC and the Big Ten start absorbing a lot of these bigger programs, that could be how it goes. And I think you'll have, you'll have to expand the 14 playoff at minimum. Like, you'll have to expand it. And, it would make sense to kind of mirror the NFL. Obviously, there's a lot more teams.
Yeah.
So you would have to, it would be a slightly different, requirement to get in, all those different things. But, I mean, you could potentially do the same thing. Start in December. They play a few games. Obviously, you get a little bit of time off for Christmas because, they are college students.
Yep.
And go back into it and end sometime, mid-January.
Well,
and
I've seen most of these teams where, like, there'll be no college games on Christmas. Those are only pro games on Christmas, but these college games are played on New Year's. So I remember watching them. So it's like, so they get the 2 or 3 day, the day before Christmas off, Christmas the next day, and then they have they have to have a day of practice, and then they can have a game kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably because that would make the college way more interesting to watch, just from like a person who watches the NFL. Because, like, that's this whole bowl game thing is so confusing because you don't know where these people are actually ranked.
Yeah, I would definitely, say that expanding the playoff at minimum, even if you don't necessarily mimic the NFL, but you expand that playoff to 6 or 8 teams, it's going to make it more enjoyable to watch because, you're going to have that random, 8 seed that could just, destroy the number 1 team in the country. It could happen, so. And then just an interesting thing. So a Big Ten opener, Northwestern in Nebraska, their season opener is, I believe, the 27th of August, and it is being played in Dublin, Ireland.
Oh, those are going to be some drunk college football players.
Yeah.
When is this and how are we getting there? When is this and how are we getting there?
I'm going to need my passport.
I don't know if it'll be a very good game. I mean, it is Northwestern and Nebraska, but it is just an interesting thing that they're, playing. You would have thought maybe, Notre Dame would have been playing.
Yeah.
Ireland, Fighting Irish, but
it would make too much sense.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's cool that they're doing something like that, And then, we've been talking, we talked last year about the, NIL and all these deals, and over the, summer, I know you guys have seen like some of these deals that these guys have been getting. So the Auburn quarterback signed an NIL deal with Amazon a few days ago, and he was arrested for eluding police. And me and Jeremy were talking a little bit before the show. He was arrested because he wasn't wearing a helmet on a scooter, and he eluded police.
On a scooter?
Yeah.
Like, not even, was it motorized at least?
I believe so. So what I've been hearing, because we have some friends that are actually on the football team and stuff like that. Here, I live 20 minutes from Auburn.
Yep.
And supposedly it's like one of those like legit, like you stand on the scooter, like that you would see a high school kid riding to
Yep.
like, get to class, like something to ride around campus. So he was supposed to have a helmet on. He got pulled over on campus for it, and instead of taking like the probably $25 ticket, mind you, he just signed an NIL deal with Amazon. He decided to elude police, and now he's probably looking. It's probably still a misdemeanor.
He scooted
Right,
away
but-
from the police.
Yes, he scooted away from the police on his scooter.
Does it really count if you're scooting away from campus police?
And that's what me and Jeremy were talking about too. I'm pretty sure they are legit police officers, but they're just they drive around Auburn University police. But I believe they're actually like City of Auburn police officers.
Oh, jeez.
That's how the college here is. They're actually actual cops. They're just not.
They're not Paul Blart.
Well, if they had segways, maybe they would have caught him.
I was gonna say it might make sense why he scooted away on a scooter.
That's a good
I
balance
think,
for
if
the
I
movie.
had a cop coming at me on a Segway, I'd probably be like, all right, let me hit the little throttle on the thing and be like, so,
Did he at least honk at him as he drove away? Meep, meep.
I hope so.
Jeremy, you are driving me crazy right now
Why?
because I can hear all of your chewing in my ears.
I muted my microphone though.
Oh, nope.
No, you weren't muted.
No, I can hear all of it.
I
Every
was too. I just unmuted myself.
Every sip you took,
Yeah.
every suck you took, hear it all.
Now you're muted. I don't know what
I
happened.
see TikToks, the ASMR TikToks and stuff with like people chewing and like slurping and stuff, and I so badly want to send them Nate, but I know like as soon as because they label it ASMR, so as soon as Nate sees it, he's just gonna be like, nope.
Yeah. I get when I get to those, I just keep flipping. I'm like, nope.
The only
I
ones
usually
that I,
do, but
the only ones that I like, that I will listen to are like dogs chewing or like otters chewing. Like I could deal with those because that's cute. Or nope, I won't even no. Anyway, carry on.
that's all I have for college. As the season starts and we start rolling into it, obviously we'll be able to talk more about the games and different things that are happening, injuries, because that's going to happen. And
Yep.
I'm sure Jim Harbaugh will say something stupid, so we'll be good.
Let's hope so, because that'll keep us entertained. This year, I'm gonna make a real effort to watch more college games, other than when it's just like instead of just background noise. So we'll try and watch those more often.
It won't.
No, we probably won't. It's gonna be a real effort, but we're gonna try.
I believe in you guys.
I was told I need to choose a college team and just go with that one team. And
You live in the South. It's kind of a requirement now.
Yeah, you moved to South Carolina. It's a requirement.
No, I think you can get by if you say your team is UMass. They'll be like, who? And you'll be
true.
Yeah, they did like an all 132 team ranking, and UMass was dead last, and all I could think about was you guys, and I started laughing.
And you sent the funny part is you sent it. I'm like, who? I'm like, well, duh.
Football. They're my actual team that I do root for, even though I don't follow what they are. But anyway,
Yeah, UMass being last
Yeah.
was not a surprise to us northern people.
Yeah,
There's a reason we're not college football fans.
Right, like BC used to be good, like in the early '80s when I was born. By the time Jordan was born in '86, they were now bad
Yeah.
because Doug Flutie had graduated.
I was just like Flutie.
Yep, basically.
Yeah. Don't you remember Flutie Flakes?
I remember Fruity Flakes. Flutie
Flutie
Flakes.
Flakes.
Flutie Flakes.
And then he played for the Pats for a little bit. Then he went to Canada and then came back.
He played for
I
Buffalo
caught-
too.
Have you?
Yeah, when he came
either
back.
of you, any of you watched Canadian football?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have before.
Field is messed up.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The
It is.
goalpost is in the middle. The end zone is ginormous.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The field
Yeah,
is an
that's
extra
awesome.
25 yards long, and it's an extra 15 yards wide. I think it is.
I'm pretty sure they just use a standard soccer field. That's why.
Yeah, they don't need it. That's just silly.
Yeah, that's why it's so hard when
Idiot.
when you go if you go play the Canadian League, coming back to the U.S. and playing in NFL, because you're used to a much bigger field, and you do get used to the fields.
Yeah.
Remember, blame Canada.
Yep. All right. So you guys wanted to talk into some NFL considering that's why we're back this year.
Yeah.
All right.
We're
so
back this year?
Yep. Tonight it started the 2022-2023 season with the Hall of Fame game. The Jags and the Raiders are playing currently because there was the delay of game for 40 minutes.
Hooray. I mean, aw.
So the Raiders are a decent team. They at least made the playoffs last year. But the Jaguars, ended up dead last again?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I know it's a Hall of Fame game, but there is so many to choose from. Would you rather this game be played by teams that are actually made the playoffs kind of thing last year, and you expect them to be decent teams again, and to watch it start off with, or these crappy teams watching some of these crappy teams play? Is it worth it?
I'm perfectly fine with these crappy teams because I want to see their first round draft picks playing. I want to see what's going on, especially with Jacksonville, because
I was gonna say the starters don't play these games anyway.
Yeah,
Regardless.
it's even less and less now that there's three preseason games, and these teams have a fourth because of this. So it's less and less likely you're going to see almost any starters on either team.
I don't think they have a fourth game this year.
They do. These two teams have 4 preseason games because of this game.
Okay.
This is essentially an extra game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think whatever team you put in there, you could put, Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. You're not going to see Tom Brady play in this game.
Yeah. You could have Tampa versus Green Bay, and you'd see no one of any value on either team playing.
Yeah,
I mean, you see that watching a Green Bay game anyway. But.
We'll see them do one series, but that's maybe it.
I think because it's the added game too. I think even less likely that anyone would play as starters.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think that's the biggest thing. I know because I have family that live in Canton, and that they basically essentially play at McKinley High School. The stadium's literally right next door to McKinley High School, and it's a big thing for Canton. Obviously, they look forward to it every year, but at the same time, how many people really watch this game?
It's more the fact it's the first professional football game on since the Super Bowl, so everyone just turns it on, watches a little bit here and there, and doesn't really pay much attention.
Yeah, because it's on in my garage, and Gail was watching. She's like, "Oh, somebody from the Raiders already got hurt."
Yeah, and I'm sure they talk about different season stuff, and it's kind of more of even a news broadcast than anything.
Well, a lot of this is all about the Hall of Fame. People going to the Hall of Fame this weekend.
Yes.
So, only thing they're really talking about while the game's not going on is the Hall of Fame, who's going in, and their careers and whatnot.
Yeah, they announced them before the game, and it was nice to see that Richard Seymour finally got in this year.
You want to know the funny thing is, the Jacksonville Jaguars' first ever #1 pick is their first ever player to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yep. Yeah, it was. I saw that. I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
It means they actually had a good pick at one point in time.
Yep, the very first pick ever.
Well, they were decent for the first few years.
Yes, they did have a good team, and that was before they were allowed. Was that when they created a team, they were allowed to pick from other teams, or were they just had to draft all their people? I thought they had they were able to pick from other teams, but other teams had to save team players kind of thing, like hockey does.
No. NFL doesn't operate that way.
Okay. I couldn't remember if that was how they came into the league, and that's why they were pretty decent the first couple of years.
The issue is players have no trade clauses and things like that, and you can't just players won't want to go there. So if they're not on their rookie contract, they can kind of say, "I'm not playing for you," and then, oh crap, we wasted a pick on a player that isn't going to play for us.
I think what probably happened is they had priority over, unrestricted free agents or
yeah, they had a lot of money to spend on
and whatnot.
They had a lot of money to spend on unrestricted free agents that offseason, and because they had no contracts, they had their full salary cap to just spend.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to buy all these tie-end free agents and build a team up around them.
All right. I couldn't remember how that worked when they were first good.
No, that's specifically a hockey thing, I think.
Yeah. All right. So,
Are we talking trades now?
we're gonna talk some trades. So, with all the trades that happened below in this offseason, who was the biggest surprise? And I put the top 10 below down here.
Devontae Adams for me.
I was gonna say AJ Brown.
That one was a little surprising.
Shocker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill surprised me too.
Yeah, I didn't think Tyreek was leaving Kansas City if at all possible.
I'm surprised he went to Miami. That's the only thing I'm surprised about. He had not been on good terms with the management there because he was not happy with his contract. He thought he was overperforming. He wanted a raise, and they weren't willing. And they kept modifying his stats to say, "See, you didn't do all this. You don't deserve that much. We'll only give you this much." And he got sick of it very quickly.
Yep. Because he really is probably one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, if not the best.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson was a major surprise. I heard rumors that franchise wasn't overly thrilled with Russell, and they wanted something to go younger. And the fact that the Broncos again bring in a very seasoned quarterback rather than sticking with what they had.
Well, they tried and it didn't work out well for a few times. So.
Yeah, they've stuck with what they had and it just keeps failing. So, and it tends to be once they get rid of that guy that's failed, he goes to another team. All of a sudden, he gets better. So they're hoping that if they bring in a good quarterback, maybe they won't have to get better.
Well, I think with Denver, you bring him in, he plays for a couple years, and then you have a nice draft pick somewhere in there. You get a decent quarterback, and he has a chance to learn on Russell Wilson.
Well, yeah. Russell Wilson's still young.
Right. I'm just saying,
compared to some, yes.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years left.
He's low 30s.
Yeah, he's early 30s.
He's like 31 or 32.
Well, all I'm saying though is depending on how he's performing there in Denver.
Yeah, you figure a minimum couple years, if not more.
So is it just me, or I can't wait till he throws that first one of those sky balls in Mile High Stadium. Just watch that thing just go.
Go from end zone to end zone.
Yes. The moon ball they called it in Seattle. That thing's gonna take off in Mile High Stadium.
I was kind of surprised that Amari Cooper left Dallas and went to Cleveland.
Well, that was.
Yeah, I think the team that he went to was surprising, but him leaving Dallas didn't surprise me.
No, he wanted a new contract. He wanted to be paid more money.
So they figured trade him for his.
Washington gave up anything for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Like the dude hasn't. I don't think he's played a full season since he came in the league.
Nope,
he hasn't. And any time at the end of the season when he is playing, it's crap.
Yeah.
All right, so
there's a chance.
So out of all these guys, which trade do you think will help their team their new team the most?
Yeah, I'm say Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Well,
either Adams or Hill.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Marquise Brown's going to be playing for Arizona anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to kind of give a little bit to Matt Ryan going to the Colts. The Colts have a.
That is true. That team is pretty stacked.
Yeah. So that could be a big thing. Yeah. It could be just like Stafford last season, right?
Yep.
It could be. And now Stafford's dealing with an elbow injury.
Well, and I think that's why I said Adams because you have Derek Carr, you have the tight end. What is it, Waller? I'm gonna screw up his name, but
yeah, that team is.
Yeah.
That and Carr and Adams went to college together. So
they played together in college.
That timing is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to take him a couple weeks to get back, but then they're going to be locked and step back again.
Yeah, so that's why I went with him. But and then depending on what Russell Wilson does in Denver, and it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, I think that Russell might actually make the biggest impact on their team because Denver hasn't been a great team. And they've really been missing a good quarterback. With a good quarterback, they might change. It might be a huge step in the right direction for them.
And it's how you look at it, you know.
I'm not seeing a significant trade on here, Travis.
Which one?
Sammy Watkins to Green Bay.
I didn't see that one. Maybe he wasn't in the top 10.
That wasn't significant enough.
That wasn't that
Wait, I
significant.
thought he was traded. I thought he was a free agent.
I think he was a free agent.
So that's
I
why.
just wanted to acknowledge it.
All right. So
See,
who's
see,
going to be the
we-
biggest
we-
bust for
They
that team?
went out and spent money.
So the biggest bust for the team this coming season is going to be Deshaun Watson because he's not going to play.
Yep.
Okay, for the teams that or the players that are gonna play, I would probably go with Carson Wentz. Honestly,
Carson Wentz or even Marquise Brown because with his now new legal issues, he might be also not playing for a portion of the season.
Hold on, did I miss his legal issues? What is his legal issues?
He got pulled over going 125 miles an hour in like a 50-mile-an-hour zone.
What kind of car was he driving? Because he doesn't know how to drive then.
I don't know.
Because if it was anything that doesn't top out at 125, he should have been going faster if he's going to get pulled over.
Well, apparently it's a criminal offense in Arizona to be driving more than like 25 over the speed limit or something.
Yeah, it is.
So it's a criminal charge. So yeah.
Maybe that's why the Auburn quarterback, did what he did.
He wants to go to Arizona next.
Why? I think there's an important question you should have added on here, Travis. Is which team was the most on brand during this offseason?
Well, I think that would have been your question. You could have just asked.
I think you did just ask it.
I think I did.
So, which team was most on brand? The Browns taking Deshaun Watson because they're really good at picking up crap.
That's mine too.
So my question for you is, why is Deshaun Watson so sought after? If you look at his career record, he is a losing quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He played for a team with some high talent players on the team and could never get them to winning in the postseason.
Because they
Why
all
did so
all
many
look
teams
at
think he was that good.
because of his numbers. His numbers say that he was a good quarterback. That's the only thing that says he's good. Because he had
But
high
his
passing numbers and high completion numbers, but
his numbers are worse than Mitch Trubisky's are. His career numbers, I'm pretty sure, are worse than Mitch Trubisky.
yeah, but for some reason his numbers they can still consider him a top tier quarterback when he's not. So it's laughable because Cleveland thinks they got a diamond in the rough, and they overpaid for poop.
Well, they thought that they were going to be slick and be like, "Oh yeah, he's just going to pay him off. The NFL is going to be all right with it." But
Mm-hmm.
it's 2022.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an outcry.
Yeah.
Did you hear his legal team is going to reference the Ben Roethlisberger suspension as a go by?
Of course they are. Because all of one
22
season.
people. 25.
26.
Oh. Yeah. Not saying either. Not saying anything is acceptable by any means, but there's a huge difference there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're running out of time.
So, hang on. I'm trying to look up Jeremy, can you look up what's his nuts? The Trubinsky stats? I got Watson's. And we can
Yeah, let's compare.
I can do it right here. So game started, Watson was 53, Trubisky was 50. Watson won 28, Trubisky won 29. Losses, Watson has 25, Trubisky has 21. Winning percentage, Watson is .528, Trubisky's .580. Completion, Watson has 1,186, Trubisky only has 1,016. So it's close.
Yeah.
Attempts, Watson has 1,750, Trubisky has 1,585. Completion percentage, Watson is 67.8, Trubisky is 64.1. Passing yards, Watson's 14,500, Trubisky's 10,500. Watson has 104 touchdowns, Trubisky only has 64.
Yeah.
So there's the big difference.
Yep.
Yeah. But Watson also rushes a lot more than.
Interceptions, Watson has 36, Trubisky has 38.
So really, it comes down to passing yards and touchdowns, and that's what they're looking at: is passing yards and touchdowns for these QBs. It's called a top tier quarterback.
So rushing yards, Watson has 1,677. Trubisky has 1,081. So it's not even that big of a difference compared to how much you think Watson actually runs.
Yeah.
Like 600 yards difference isn't that much in the end.
Yeah, he just tends to score more than Trubisky. But that's also a scheme thing too, though.
Exactly.
All right. So basically, we're saying Deshaun Watson isn't much better than Mitch Trubisky.
Nope.
All right. So we were talking all offseason about some of these receivers and their outrageous paydays they're getting this year. Does anybody have an idea as to why this happened this year compared to ever before?
Kirk in the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, so
I'll explain this one. He was the first big offseason receiver signed.
Yep.
And he's not even a true number one receiver currently. But Jacksonville paid him as if he was a true number one receiver, which caused the actual true number one receivers to say, well, if he's making $20 million a year, we should be making more.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill had already kind of set this mark being the most highly paid wide receiver.
Yep.
And well, now Adams wants a new contract, isn't happy with Green Bay. Pretty much tells them to go pound sand. He's not playing for them.
Even though they offered them more money to stay with them.
Yes, he was so sick of dealing with the GM and stuff in Green Bay, he was done.
So it's all Nate's
I'm not
fault.
sure if it was just the Green Bay or if it was actually dealing with Rodgers too. I mean,
he also wanted to be back with his college quarterback.
Yeah, he did want to play with Carr. So, but due to the fact that Christian Kirk got paid so much money as a pretty much he's a number two receiver, but they paid him as if he was a number one.
Yeah.
Well, agents for the actual number one receiver say, well, if a number two gets this, our guy should get this. And that's why the market quickly went from, okay, it's kind of here, teetering up a little bit, to this skyrocket jump. And as soon as that deal was signed and the ink was on the paper, the whole rest of the receiver market drastically changed.
Yeah, because Tyreek Hill was the highest paid receiver.
He still is.
Still is, and he was making what, $22 million a year?
I'm pretty sure he's almost 30 now.
Yeah, because before I want to say he was making 22 a year, and I think now he's making 30, 31 a year.
4 years, $120 million.
Jeez.
Including $25.5 million sign bonus and $72.2 million guaranteed.
So what is that?
Average of $30 million a year.
Yeah. Which is that's like quarterback numbers from as little as a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So what Jacksonville did? Jacksonville signed Christian Kirk to a 4-year, $72 million deal.
Holy crap!
Which could be worth up to $84 million
with incentives.
With incentives. So if you take
84 divided by 4.
Yeah. 21 mil a year.
Yeah.
As a number 2 receiver.
Yeah, that's an outrageous.
So that's what set the market to that new number. Because Tyreek Hill was a one-off because he's that.
He's good.
Talent.
Yeah, he's that good. He deserves to get that kind of payday. But then,
no,
he didn't deserve not a $30 million payday, but because Jacksonville had to screw with everybody. Now all of a sudden he's
someone they wanted and they spent a lot of money.
Yeah, and then every other team's like, shit. Now we gotta keep these guys happy. We're gonna be spending upwards of $30 million a year just to keep our top tier receivers. When that went back in before, quarterbacks, which most teams see as the most important position, were paid maximum of $30 million a year.
Exactly. Now you got quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers making $50 million a year.
Yep.
He deserves it.
Nate pays for it every year when he buys another stock market.
No, when he tries to buy another one.
Not buying any more. I got enough.
Is the wife putting her foot down?
No, this is me.
No, he spent all his money on comic books.
Yes.
I've already listed 8 of them on eBay.
Yep.
You go.
He got his comics graded. Now they're on eBay. All right. So because it's the preseason, we're not going to do bets this year. Well, until the season starts.
Hey, you missed one.
Oh, I did. Which one did I miss?
Which second-year player do you
Oh,
to make
yes.
the biggest leap forward?
Well, that's because you idiots are typing below it, and I forgot that was there.
They were making their comments.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't know who wrote any of it.
That's the problem. Is I got a bird, a rhino, and a hedgehog.
I thought it's a crow.
Yeah, crow. So I'm guessing Jeremy's the crow. And
we don't know who's what now. We were trying to figure it out earlier.
I'm pretty sure Nate is the hedgehog because he looks like a hedgehog. And Chris could be a rhino. He's got that. Every once in a while, he gets the poof up front for the rhino-ness. All right, yeah. So which player out of that was a rookie last year, receiver, quarterback, defensive player, who do you expect to make the biggest leap forward and to become like a top tier player this year?
Fields.
Justin Fields.
I think I won't say he's going to be a top tier player, but I think it's going to be a night and day performance because I think the coaching staff and everything, I think he's going to fit better in the system. So I think it's going to be a significant improvement from last year.
I'm going to go with Sunshine.
Sunshine. Yeah, they sat him tonight. He wasn't even dressed. At least what's his face from
Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek Carr had his pads on.
Oh, he just got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, he did.
I would agree with you though, Jeremy. I think he's going to break out too with the right actual and given
pro coach.
Yeah.
With a real pro coach and
beyond that, no.
Yeah, with a pro coach, he's going to make a big difference.
I stand by Tua.
Tua's a third-year quarterback. Sorry.
Tua.
You think finally he'll have a second-year breakout year?
I can't even think of who else, but Fields, the dude up in New England,
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, I can't think of any other.
What about in San Francisco? Because now he's going to be the starting quarterback.
He's not going to do shit. Friggin'
Trey Lance.
Yeah, fuck him.
What about Mr. Milfbanger?
Ooh, I would like to see the Abigail Giles Magic Vagina Slayer. I can't wait for you guys to start doing fantasy football talk and have to say my team name.
Yeah, that I was watching. I was like, oh my god, what is? Did he change his name to him? Like, really? This is what we're doing? Okay.
You know, I was gonna change my name, but I'm like, I can't change it because I won last year, so I have to. As I hold the belt, I need to make sure everyone knows it's my team.
Yes. And
that's why your name is on it too.
Yes, his name is on it. But
I know.
When we do the fantasy night, we will be doing that live, even though it's going to be an off night. Right now, we're tentatively for the 27th, but it may change. So we'll keep you guys updated who actually kind of listen to us. Amanda
will get the updates either way.
She'll be on it.
Yeah.
No, in Vermont.
I didn't make sure.
Yes, she's in BYU.
I think this year she needs to be more talkative on it, and not just mad that I steal her players.
She's not going to be on the podcast.
No, she's gonna be auto drafting.
Oh, yeah. Where's Amanda gonna be?
Don't you read the comments?
No, I don't.
Go to Vermont.
Oh, she's going to Vermont.
Yep.
As long as we do it like not the week of the 22nd to the whatever that Friday is.
What's that Friday?
I
think it's the Saturday after that. It's like the 27th.
It's a Saturday, like late afternoon at night.
Okay, I get that Friday.
Eastern, 7 o'clock Central.
That Central's for Smitty.
Yep.
Yes.
And we got.
Hold on, Smitty should be Eastern. He's in Florida, right?
He's on the Panhandle. That's Central.
It's where that weird.
That weird line.
Yes.
The weird imaginary line.
Exactly.
I do live in Central, but because I work and everything in Eastern, we just keep our house on Eastern.
Except for when you're watching TV, you're like, this is the wrong thing. It's not the wrong time.
Like, depending on where I stand in my house with my cell phone, if I have it like on the automatically detect time zone, it will jump back and forth.
So are you currently sitting in Central or Eastern?
Eastern, because I turned that function
All right.
But yeah, someone had to fix the belt a little bit.
Oh,
It's a nice looking belt. I can't wait to get it back.
Well, you're gonna
Well,
have
at
to
least
win
your
this
name's on
year.
Twice now.
It is. It's gonna be on there 3 times.
Why am I winning again next year?
Well, 3 times a lady. Sorry.
All right.
All right. Well, we're gonna do. I wanted to make preseason picks, but for our teams for the AFC, but we can always do that next week when Smitty's back.
Smitty's back is what I was gonna.
No, I'd say we should do that the week between the last preseason and the start of the season.
Do the AFC and the NFC.
Yeah.
On the same night. We can do
Yeah,
that.
and we did it last year. We used that website where we could go through game by game and.
Oh yeah.
That way we
go through it.
Smitty will have to find that website again because I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sure Smitty will.
He'll be more than willing.
But then it gives you a lot better idea because then it kind of okay, these teams are going to be these and these teams aren't going to be these, and it runs your record for you. You don't have to kind of keep track.
Yeah, that's true. All right, guys. So, I think we're gonna call this a night, right?
Sounds good.
I'd say
Quick
so.
show.
Ready, break.
That's all, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.